Hello students, welcome back to our channel, and here we are again with another video, and today we are going to study the English of class 10th and the second book, that is Footprints Without Feet, and chapter number 3, that is The Midnight Visitor. So basically this story is written by Robert Arthur, and Mr. Robert Arthur is well known for his stories. They are having so much suspense and thrill. So basically this story is about a spy, about an agent, you can say a secret agent. So when I say the word spy, or when I say the word secret agent, the first picture, the first imagination that comes in your mind is that person, the spy. As you have seen in many movies, they are based on secret agents or spies in Bollywood also, in Hollywood also. And I must mention some of the famous movies, in fact the series, that is James Bond series and the Mission Impossible series in Hollywood. They are very much famous for the role of spy or for the role of secret agents. So if you have seen these movies, or if you have seen another Indian movies, I must say you must have seen Ek Tha Tiger movie. The actor was Salman Khan and the actress was Katrina Kaif. So this story was also based on secret agents. In this movie, Salman Khan was also a secret agent, and then Katrina Kaif was also a secret agent. So they both were secret agents, and they were performing missions together, and they were performing lots of missions, actions, thrills and drama. So the movie was full of these things. So you must have noticed either in Bollywood or in Hollywood, the story, the character of a secret agent is very sharp-minded, very much active, and you can say he is very much attentive. His focus is all around the environment, all around the surrounding. Even if he is walking straight, his eyes and you can say his activeness walks on left or right, whatsoever is going on. So this is the basic characteristics of a secret agent, you can say. But in this story, you will find out the character that plays a role of a secret agent is not like that. And the name of the character is Oswald. I must write it here so that you can identify easily. So this is the first word, the first name you will get when you read the story. So this is the character of a secret agent or a spy. So this is not as we have seen in the movies. This secret agent is just opposite to that. He is very lazy, he is very cool, he is very calm, and he does not perform a lot of action as we have seen in the movies. So we will read about the agent further, and we will read about this story and his adventures, journey, or whatsoever is written in this story. We will read paragraph by paragraph, and we will understand the meaning of the story. So let's get started. So as it reads the first paragraph, and before that there is a little introduction also. Oswald, a secret agent, is expecting to get a very important report. Another secret agent, Max, threatens him with a pistol, demanding the report. Does Oswald outwit him? So, as of now, we have formed two characters. The first one is Oswald, upon which the story is based, and the second agent is also there, that is Max. So they both are secret agents. So Oswald is actually waiting for a very secret and important report, and Max also reaches there and he demands that report. I want this report. He came to the report. Now here the suspense begins. Whether Ozible hands him over the report or outwit him. So outwit, that means deceive him. So now we are going to read the story. Ozible did not fit any description of a secret agent Fowler had ever read. Following him down the musty corridor of the gloomy French hostel where Ozible had a room, Fowler felt let down. It was a small room on the sixth and top floor and scarcely a setting for a romantic adventure. So there is a hotel in which Ozible is staying, and that hotel is not at all romantic. It is full of thrill and suspense. The hotel has 6th floor and Ozible is staying at the top floor. That means at the 6th floor. And there is another person. As of now, we are reading about the third person, who is Fowler. So, who is Fowler? What does he do? It is not written. We will read it further. So, in the first paragraph, it is said that Ozible does not fit in a shape or in a size of a secret agent. He does not look like a secret agent. Instead, he looks like a common man who is very chilled, who is very calm, who doesn't have any kind of action to perform as a secret agent. He is also very lazy. So, Fowler, as it says, Fowler had read. That means either Fowler is a blogger or Fowler is a writer. So Fowler reads a lot about the secret agents. This was the first paragraph of this story. Now we are getting into the second paragraph. Ozible was, for one thing, fat, very fat. So if you have seen any of the movie or any of the secret agents, the most prominent thing you will notice, they are very muscular. They keep themselves very maintained. They take healthy diet. They are not at all fat. But here in the case of Ozible, he is fat. In fact, very fat. And then there was his accent. Though he spoke French and German passively, he had never altogether lost the American accent he had brought to Paris from Boston 20 years ago. So 20 years ago, he was in Paris from Boston and he speaks American very well, American English very well. But he speaks French also and German also. But all the languages he speaks, they are having American tone, American accent. So he can be easily identified that he belongs to any of the American cities or American countries. But in real life, the agents, they adapt themselves. If they are in India, they speak Hindi very well, so that we cannot identify, you cannot recognize them, they do not belong to India. Or if they are in like France, they speak French very well. So they adapt themselves in any part of the country because they are trained for that. But it is not the case with Ozible. Wherever he go, whatever language he speak, he keeps on carrying the American accent or the American tone. You are disappointed, Ozible said easily over his shoulder. You were told that I was secret agent, a spy, dealing in espionage and danger. That means adventurous and very risky tasks or very risky actions. You wish to meet me because you are a writer. So as I said, the Fowler, this person is a writer. Now we have found him. He is a writer. Max is a spy. And then Ozible is also a spy. So we have found all three characters. Because you are a writer, young and romantic, you envision mysterious figures in the night, the crack of pistols, drug in the wine. So as he says that as we have seen in the movies, whenever you talk about a secret agent, he is accompanied by a beautiful lady or beautiful girl, but it is not the case with the Ozzy. And we see a lot of action, guns, wine, romantic dinner, romantic date, and lots of scene we imagine. So lots of scene also Fowler has imagined about Ozible. But when he comes to meet Ozible, he doesn't find anything like that. So he was very much disappointed, and the same is Ozible said to Fowler that as we have imagined, there is no such thing available or present here. Instead, we have spent a dull evening in a French music hall with a sloppy fat man who, instead of having messages slipped into his hand by dark-eyed beauties, gets only a Prozac telephone call making an appointment in his room to have been warned. The fat man chuckled to himself as he unlocked the door for his room and stood aside to let his frustrated guest enter. So now he starts describing that you have imagined this, you have imagined that, but you are not finding this. You found me performing some kind of action, some kind of fight scenes, some kind of action with pistols, or you might have imagined about me a romantic dinner with a beautiful lady as we have seen in the movies, but there is no such thing. In fact, you found me spending my evening in a boring French music which is performed in a hall auditorium. I was sitting there, and then he came to his room and he opened the door and he let Fowler in. He said, "Come on, let's sit and have a talk. You are disillusioned," Ozible told him, "but take cheer. My young friend, presently you will see a paper, a quite important paper for which several men and women have risked their lives. Come to me. Someday soon, that paper may well affect the course of history. In that though is drama. Is there not?" So he said, as you have nothing seen yet, but now you are going to see the main part of the story. Because a very prominent, important paper is about to come, and before that paper, a lot of people are running and risking their lives and they are ready to die also. So that paper is about to come, and this is the main part of the story. This line Ozible said to Fowler while entering the room, and this paper is as much important as it can change the entire history. So you can imagine how important this paper is, for which a lot of people are running behind. As he spoke, Ozible closed the door behind him, then he switched on the light. So he closed the door, they both were in the room, and Ozible switched on the light. And as the light came on, Fowler had his first authentic thrill of the day. For halfway across the room, a small automatic pistol in his hand stood a man. Ozible blinked a few times. "Max!" he wheezed. "You gave me quite a start. I thought you were in Berlin. What are you doing here in my room?" As soon as he switched on light, he finds another person who is standing in the corner of the room, and he is having an automatic pistol, and it is pointed towards Ozible or towards Fowler. And Ozible is quite surprised and he said, "Max, what are you doing here? I imagine that you are in Berlin, but you are here. What are you doing here?" And this person, Fowler, is very much thrilled, is very much scared, is very much, you can say, he is feared when he finds this kind of scene, a person pointing out pistol towards him. So he is very much scared, is very much feared, is very much thrilled. So as I said, like Max is another spy, and Max is also running for the paper. Max was slender, a little less than tall, with features that suggested slightly the craftily pointed countenance of a fox. There was about him, aside from the gun, nothing especially menacing. So, when you ask about Max, he also does not fit in the characteristics of a spy. But you can say, but as it is said, he is having a gun. As you can see in the movies, secret agents, they are using very much advanced weapons, cars and other things. So Max is also using an advanced and automatic gun. Apart from the gun, there is nothing special in Max. From a point of view of a spy or a secret agent. The report, he murmured, the report that is being brought to you tonight concerning some new missiles. So this report is having some information about missiles and it is about to come in the midnight. I thought I would take it from you. It will be safer in my hands than in yours. So Max is going to take the reports from Ossible. And these reports are having secret information about missiles. So Max thinks that he is cleverer than Ossible and he can protect the reports well. So he said this and he wanted to take the reports from Ossible. Ossible moved to another armchair, and sat down heavily. I am going to raise the devil with the management this time, and you can bet on it, he said grimly. This is the second time in a month that somebody has got into my room through that nuisance of a balcony. Fowler's eyes went to the single window of the room. It was an ordinary window against which now the night was pressing blackly. So the night outside the room is very dark. And Ossible said, now I am going to file a legal case against this hotel owners, the management of the hotel. Why? Because whenever I come here, I find somebody is coming through the balcony, and he pointed out to the window. Max also saw the window, but outside the window nothing could be seen. Why? Because the night was very dark. Balcony, Max said with a rising inflection. No, a pass key. I did not know about the balcony. I might have saved me some trouble had I known. So now the Max is also surprised. He said, balcony, I did not know about this balcony. I came to this room through a pass key. A pass key, that means another kind of master key or a duplicate key, you can say. So he was not knowing about the balcony, so he came to the room by the door with a pass key or duplicate key, you can say. So he was surprised. He said, if I had known about this balcony, I would have come to that way only. I would have saved my time and I would have saved myself from a lot of troubles that I have faced. It's not my balcony, Ossible said with extreme irritation. It belongs to the next apartment. He glanced explanatorily at Fowler. You see, he said, this room used to be part of large unit and the next room through the door there used to be the living room. It had the balcony which extends under my window now. You can get into it from the empty room 2 doors down. And somebody did. Last month the management promised to block it off, but they haven't. So he said actually this room used to be bigger than this. But later on some kind of partition happened and then the little escape remained. The balcony which belonged to another room, now it is gone into the partition, but it has an escape. So anybody can enter the room. Anybody can enter the room, and so he said last time also I complained, but the management did not repair it, but the management did not block the way. So he said last time also somebody came to my room by this way only. So now Max glanced at Fowler, who was standing stiffly not far from Oswald, and waved the gun with a commanding gesture. Please sit down, he said. We have a wait of half an hour, I think. So now Max looked at Fowler and he pointed the gun towards himself and said, sit down and do not move, do not do any kind of action. We will take half an hour at least. 31 minutes. Oswald said moodily, the appointment was for 12:30. I wish I knew how you learned about the report, Max. So Oswald said that it will take 31 minutes because I have the appointment of 12 o'clock and 30 minutes. The little spy smiled heavily, and we wish we knew how you people got the report, but no harm has been done. I will get it back tonight. What is it? Who is at the door? So Max said, and he was having a bad idea about this. He was having a bad intention behind the reports, as it is not said what he is going to do with the reports, but he wanted to snatch the reports from Oswald. And he smiled very heavily, very badly, and he said, do not worry, I will take care of the report, so you just relax and hand over the report to me. Suddenly somebody comes at the door and starts knocking. So Max is surprised that who is at the door this time. Fowler jumped at the sudden knocking at the door. Oswald just smiled. That will be the police, he said. I thought that such an important paper as the one we are waiting for should have a little extra protection. So I told them to check on me to make sure everything was alright. So now Oswald is smiling and he said, there are police behind the door because the report is as much important, so I cannot leave it unprotected. So I told the police, bring it to me along with the full protection. Max bit his lip nervously. The knocking was repeated. So the person who was standing, the people who were standing behind the door, they kept on knocking, and the Max was now, he's a little bit scared because as he heard the word police, he thought I might get some trouble. What will you do, Max? Oswald asked. If I do not answer the door, they will enter anyway. The door is unlocked and they will not hesitate to shoot. So he said, as you are holding a gun, so if the police personnel will see you having a gun, they will not hesitate to shoot you. They will directly shoot you. No sooner do you find the gun, they will shoot you directly without asking any kind of question. So Max is now hesitating. He is very much scared. So Oswald said, I must open the door unless they will breach inside. They will come inside, they will break the door, and they will come inside and they will shoot you. Max's face was black with anger and he backed swiftly towards the window. He swung a leg over the still, sent them away. He warned, I will wait on the balcony. Send them away or I will shoot and make my chances. So Max is now very much angry, he is scared also. So now Max is very much scared and he is angry also. That because Oswald called the police. So he was moving towards the balcony because no other way is remaining for escape. So he moved towards the balcony and he said, I am waiting here. Send them as soon as possible and hand over me the report. Otherwise I will shoot you. I will find you, I will shoot you. The knocking at the door became louder and the voice was raised. Mr. Oswald, Mr. Oswald. So now the person who is standing outside the door, the knocking is now very much loud and frequent, and the person is also calling the name, Mr. Oswald, Mr. Oswald, are you there? Keeping his body twisted so that his gun still covered the fat man and his guest. The man at the window grasped the frame with his free hand to support himself. Then he swung his another leg up and over the window sill. The doorknob turned swiftly. Max pushed his hands to left hand to free himself from the sill and dropped to the balcony. And then, as he dropped, he screamed once shrilly. The door opened and a waiter stood there with a tray, a bottle, and 2 glasses. Here's the drink you ordered for when you return, he said and set the tray on the table deftly, uncorked the bottle and left the room. White-faced Fowler stared after him, but he stammered. The police? There was no police possible sight. Only Henry, whom I was expecting. But wouldn't that man out the balcony? Fowler began. No, said Ossible, he won't return. You see, my young friend, there is no balcony. So now the suspense is revealed here. Outside the window there is no balcony. It was a trap set by Ossible to outwit Max. As he pointed out, as he said that there is a balcony, so Max got his chances so that he can stay there in the balcony till the police goes out. But as soon as he stepped his one leg, then another, and then tried to stay in the balcony, he fell from the sixth floor towards the ground floor. And sixth floor is a very much height. So he died right there. And there was no such balcony. So Fowler, the person, the writer is very much surprised. Now he started asking, because when the door opened, only a waiter came with a bottle of wine and two glasses. And he kept it on the table and he went back. So he surprisingly asked, where is the police? You said there are police personnel outside the room, but there is no such thing. Only a waiter I can see. So he said, I was expecting a waiter only. I called waiter only. I did not call police. It was just my trap. It was just my plan to outwit Max. So the Max died here. Now Mr. Fowler is quite much impressed with the tricks and traps used by Ossible. And in the last paragraph he also said that he won't return. About Max, Ossible is saying that Max won't return. That means Max is dead. As it is said in some hints also, the room is at the sixth floor and there is no such balcony. So when he jumped outside the window, that means he is at the ground floor. So when somebody jumps from the sixth floor to the ground floor, there are very less chances of survival. So Max died here. This was the story. The story is ending here. I hope you enjoyed the story. I hope you understood the paragraphs and meanings and all the things which are described here in the story. Still, if you have any kind of doubt, any kind of question in your mind, you can write that in the comment box. And we will be back again with much more videos. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe to our channel, like our videos, share our videos, and thank you very much for watching our videos. We will be back again. So till then, goodbye and stay tuned.